How are you both doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Hi, Steve. How are you?
First of all, congrats on the movie. You guys did such a fantastic job. But I am curious, Jude, when you got cast, who was the most excited in your immediate family and friends that you got the part?
I'm not sure actually.
Was it your mum, your dad?
Yeah, I think my mom and dad were really like excited because they're like, "Whoa, this person's in it. This person's worked with these people before."
And he hadn't a clue who any of us were, which is probably very healthy.
No, I did. I knew you all from millions of different things.
Yeah, I read in the press notes that you saw Paddington in nursery school, and it made me feel very old. I'll say it like that. Which, by the way, you're a kid. It's fine. It's totally cool.
All right for him. My Zimmer's in the corner.
For both of you guys, what does it actually mean to, because the movie has been getting such great reviews, and I'm just curious if you've been paying attention to that, and what does it mean to each of you to have so many people loving the movie?
It's just amazing, to be honest. And I'm really happy that everyone's enjoying the film. And I think Ken and the entire cast and crew really deserve it because everyone put their blood, sweat, and tears into making it.
Yeah, it's really lovely, Steve, to hear people talk about it. I haven't read reviews. I don't know if they've come out, but just to hear when we talk with people about it, how it affects them, and how the story touches them very much, and at the same time, what joy they get from watching it, and especially watching this young fella. You know, it's really good. I mean, we had a premiere in Belfast about 3 nights ago, and that was a very emotional experience for all of us. It was like bringing it home, and for the most part, people really got on with it.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you grew up in Belfast, and you were, I think, 16 when this film actually takes place. I could be wrong about this, but I think I've done my research.
I could say, no, you're wrong. I was 2, but that would be lying.
Right.
Yeah, no, I would have been 16. So I was being a kind of a teenager at the time. And it was quite a, yeah, it was quite a moment when the year before there'd been civil rights marches and there'd been stuff starting to happen, some kind of violent reaction to it. And then suddenly it all kicked off in August of 69. And it was around for the next 25, 26 years as it escalated. And that is part of our history, and it's something that we have still are trying to address and all that. But what I really like about the film is that it's there in the background, it's not being ignored, but it's not the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is the people and how they cope in adversity and how they reach out to each other and give helping hands, and not being too sentimental either. You know, it's tough. But I do believe Ken has made a most beautiful film.
No, 100%. Jude, this is your first movie, and I'm curious what surprised you about making a movie that you didn't expect when you started?
Probably how nice the entire cast was and the crew. And
Shucks.
we all just bonded like a family, to be honest. And they just became my friends, and they're really nice people. And that was probably what I was surprised about most.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys, because of the pandemic, you guys were sort of like locked down together while you were making the movie. And I would imagine that actually had to have helped in the whole bonding of everybody and making yourself feel like a family. Was that the case?
Yeah, it was. I mean, also, I guess we were kept in the same hotel, but at the same time, they were asking us not to mix. You know, not at the same time, it wasn't that you were in a bubble. So, like, please, everybody, you know, apart from the work, keep to your own rooms, use room service if you can, but just keep separate. And when we were in waiting to go on set, we were all in separate rooms. I mean, Ken took it very seriously about protecting people, older people, because they weren't quite sure what was going to happen. And it was one of the first films to actually go ahead. So he had a system in place that was very protective and very careful of everybody. And maybe it just focused everybody to that when the only people who took the masks off were the actors, and they wore masks all the time until they got in front of camera. And then makeup hardly bothered with it. We just used soft masks. And then maybe it concentrated everybody wonderfully to focus in those moments when you were free without the mask. And then we felt very much connected in our own world.
Well, I know that this was a very personal film for Kenneth. Obviously, I mean, very personal. What was it actually like collaborating with him on set? Can you guys each share like a memory?
He's such an amazing guy. And probably every single second the camera wasn't rolling, we were either playing football or just having a nice chat. And Ken supports Tottenham Hotspurs, which I don't support that well. And I support Liverpool. And yeah, that's the only thing that's a bit iffy about him.
It's the only thing. Yeah, that's about the only thing. He's a Spurs supporter. I mean, apart from that, the man's a genius.
Yeah.
Truly. No, I remember actually there was one thing Ken asked me to do, and I didn't understand why. And he said, "Oh, we'll just do it and we'll see what happens." And he just left me on my own outside the little house, the wee terraced house we were in. And he said, "I'm just going to walk by off camera and shout a few things at you." It was very funny because he went back into his Belfast, but he was behind camera and shouted a few things at me. And I went into my Belfast and shouted a few ridiculous Belfast sayings back at him. And then he just walked and said, "Well, that's fine. We'll see what happens to that." Well, it ended in a bin. But anyway, it was fun to do at the time.
What ended up being the tough scene, like a tough scene for each of you, and why? Maybe you had the giggles, maybe it was just a tough day on set, you know.
I think every scene that we all giggled at, Jamie Dornan started the giggling, and then he got us all hooked.
If there was any problem, it was Jamie Dornan's fault. That's all we know. Isn't that true?
Try to blame it on me every single time.
There you go. I remember we had a lovely scene about, which didn't make the final edit, about eating tripe, which is cow's innards, which is a very Belfast dish. It's pretty gruesome. And a cow has 4 stomachs. I'm not going to bore you with this, no, I won't. But I actually had a scene where I had to tell him about which part of the cow's stomach you eat, of the 4 different levels. And I'd started making it up because I forgot which bit of the cow's stomach was which. But they cut the scene anyway.
Yeah, and another scene, the pig's trotters scene, where Ma was begging the pig's trotters. This smelt and looked disgusting, and I wasn't acting whenever I nearly threw up at them, you know.
On that note, I have to stop. I'm just going to say seriously, congrats. I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I hope the film's a huge hit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.